I know I told you we were going to do this morning, but unfortunately life gets in the way, so we're doing it now. Welcome to Aroma Time Bistro in Ellenville, New York, and this is Chef Marcus Guiliano, and he's going to talk to us today about the Northern Italy Vineyards trip that we have, the wines and the vineyards that we'll be visiting, and the truffle farm, and how we can, match wines, and what we can use truffles for, and why we chose the vineyards, and why we chose the time of year, and what the trip is going to be about, so that you kind of get a little bit better idea.
So we're going to talk wine, talking wine, cheese, and truffles.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Who doesn't like that?
So first off, we're going to Italy, November 5th through 12th, 2017, and we're taking a group of people.
We are. We're so excited.
It's going to be amazing. Jamie and I were just there about a year and a half ago with our kids, and the neat thing about where we're going is we're going to visit vineyards that we actually do business with, that I actually buy from, that I have relationships with. And we're really excited because wine tours, wine country is such a huge tourism thing now. It's really a growing thing. People who don't even like wine, like, hey, I went to the vineyard today. I went to the brewery, and I didn't know you drank beer. I don't drink beer. I don't drink wine. But I want to go to a vineyard.
And you want to know how it's made. You want to know what they're doing. How's the process? How long does it take? Sometimes you go to these places and the stuff that you learn makes you realize, oh, is that why that bottle of wine is that price? Oh, that makes sense now,
So one thing I always tell people, you don't have to really like wine. Or no, I'm sorry, you don't have to know about wine to be able to drink wine or to go to a winery. You just need to be willing to try wines and figure out what you like. When I first started trying wine, tasting wine, learning wine, my very first wine experience in a restaurant was, I wasn't old enough to drink yet, so I couldn't taste. So for me to learn wine, I went through the garbage every night, picked out the empty bottles, and I lined up the bottles, and the wine captain at the Greenbrier in West Virginia, he came out and he would help me read the labels and decipher the labels. Because you start looking at a wine, you're like, where is this from? What is it? What grape is it?
Right. What is all that writing on it?
So
what does it mean?
They had 800 wines on their list. I would line wines up at night out of the garbage. Literally out of the garbage I did this.
Wow.
And he would quiz me and show me how to read wine labels. And then from there, once I started tasting, my first job that I was legal to drink at, I'm sitting there smelling it and everybody's like swirling and this and that. I'm like, oh my gosh, what are they doing? So I tasted it and they're like, I taste plum, I taste fig, I taste oak. I'm like, I taste red.
It's hard. It is a learned process.
But don't be intimidated at all about tasting and drinking wine.
Absolutely
That's the neat thing. So we're going to Northern Italy. Northern Italy. The neat thing about Italy is every single state in Italy, from Campania, Apulia, from the way far south, all the way to the north to the Veneto, to Lombardy, to where we're going, into Piedmont, into Valpolicella, into the Veneto, Soave. Every state makes good wine. Every state in Italy is known for their specific wine, which is great. France is awesome for wine as well, but you have 5 regions in France. And outside those regions, of course, they still produce wine, but in Italy, every single state is known for their signature powerhouse wines and, of course, their table wines. So Italy is just amazing from start to finish. And most people, when they do wine and they go to Italy, they do Tuscany. Tuscany is great.
Right,
Been to Tuscany. Been there 3-4 times.
Yeah.
But we're going to go north of Tuscany. We're going to go where the bigger reds are, where the more finessed whites are. And so we're going to fly in and out of Milan.
So why did you choose to go to the Northern Italy
Italy. So Northern Italy, it's a beautiful culinary mecca in the Northern Italy. It's the richer foods, it's the risottos, it's the truffles. It's the bigger wines like Barolo, Amarones. But then, of course, we're going to go into Soave, which is the lighter reds from the Trebbiano. But the wines up there are just so amazing. We're going to Lake Garda,
which is beautiful.
We're staying at a vineyard, Pratello, overlooking the lake in a medieval village. We're going to open up the window, basically, and look outside and see buildings that are 700-800 years old, right within 20 feet across from us, from this beautiful medieval village.
And that's why you travel, to go and see. You can't see that here. You can't see that here.
And we're not doing the touristy type things.
No.
I'm a kind of person, when I go and travel, I go to the back countryside. sure, it's nice to see the Leaning Tower and things like that, but how long can you sit there and stare at a tower? We've seen it in textbooks.
With 800 million other people.
Our whole lives we've seen it in textbooks and on pictures. I want to see stuff that textbooks really aren't covering. I want to see and meet the people in the countryside. For me, this is great because I do business with these people. These people are my friends, and I respect them, and they respect me, and it's great because they're excited for us coming. They're very excited. Giovanni Bertani is so excited. He's going to take us to a cheese shop down the road, right from the vineyard, that they age cheese in this cave. And it's amazing because he takes his Amarone grape, the must, the juice grapes after they're fermented, and this guy takes it and wraps cheese with it. And they age the cheese in this beautiful cave in this basement. It's amazing.
So let me ask you, because I've gotten this question, why do Northern Italy in the beginning of November? I mean, why beginning of November?
Great
Isn't it
question.
going to be cold? And
So I was there in the beginning of December a year and a half ago, and the lowest the temperature got in the middle of the night was 35 degrees.
Which
sun comes out and it warms right up.
Right.
We were high 50s to mid 60s in the beginning, the first week of December. So don't think of I mean, this is the beginning of November, so this is first week into the second week in November.
Right.
Don't think like, oh, it's going to be cold. This is their peak fall season. Like here we have our peak fall season in October.
Right.
We're going there when the leaves are beautiful on the trees, the vineyards, the countryside is amazing. There's still being a little bit of green out there. And so don't think the typical New York Northeast mid-November scenery.
Right.
Totally different.
Right.
Totally different.
Right.
It's going to be warmer, but they're going into their winter, of course. And with winter comes winter truffles.
See, there's a reason. There's
Yes.
a reason we're going in November.
So winter truffles, or summer truffles. Truffles are a fungus type tuber. Let's see if everybody can see that on their screens. So that's the prized white truffle. That's from Alba. We're going to be right near there, people.
Yeah, no, we're going to be going to Alba.
We're going to Alba.
Yeah.
Alba,
Yeah,
Barolo,
yeah.
Guiliano. We're going to be there doing a truffle hunt.
Yep.
And you can't do a truffle hunt in August.
Right.
In May, you can
Right.
do a summer truffle hunt. But we
Right.
want to do these prized truffles in here in the U.S. If I was as a chef, when I go to buy these,
Yep.
which I can't really afford them, they're about $2,000 a pound wholesale from a distributor. So when we buy them, they're little tiny pieces and they're a couple $100 each. But they are so aromatic and pungent. So we're going to be foraging for truffles.
And if you've ever tasted a truffle, just sliced, I've done a truffle hunt in France, and they slice them and put them on little pieces of bread with a little bit of salt and oil. Oh, and that smell just
So this is the truffle oil we use here at the restaurant. My friend Rosario makes this, and it's organic, USDA organic. Rosario's out of New York City, great guy. One of the only truffle oils out there that is made from 100% organic ingredients. There's no perfumes, no extracts. It's real deal
So
truffle.
beautiful.
And Rosario takes the truffles, he slices them super thin,
Yep.
infuses them into oil, then puts it into a chamber that opens up almost like a vacuum packer that opens up the cells, has the flavor transfused, and then pulls all the shavings out, freeze dries them, pulverizes them into a powder, and puts them back into the bottle.
Oh, wow.
That's how he does it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, amazing truffle oil. So, and of course with truffle oil comes truffle cheese.
I think he might let me eat now that he keeps talking about
Jeez.
food.
So why don't we open a bottle of wine while we're here?
Well, we should do that.
So Zenato is one of the wineries that we're going to. Zenato is in Valpolicella, and it is, let's see.
So I think the other thing that we should point out is that if we were going during the harvest time, none of the vineyards would have time for us to come in and do more than just a typical tasting. What you really have to understand is we're doing so much more than what a typical tourist tasting is. We're going to be meeting the owners of the vineyards and really seeing all of the workings because they have time to do that in November. They wouldn't have time to do that in September when they're harvesting.
A lot of Italian vineyards don't have official tasting rooms. Like
Right.
in America, it's an official tourist
Right.
shop
Right.
when you go to these tasting rooms. A lot of wineries have that that whole, I like to call it, this is a scientific way they design the tasting room, so you buy and you spend.
Right.
When you go to Italy, a lot of these places don't have like an official tasting room. There's no like showroom. You're going to taste these people's houses, in their barns, in their villas. And like Bertani, the Bertani estate is magnificent. It's this castle in Valpolicella that is amazing. Tenuta Santa Maria, amazing, behind these stone walls. But they really don't have like an official big tasting room. We're going to this big like long wooden table in one of the rooms there, and we're going to taste with Giovanni and his father.
We're being treated like family.
Yes.
And that's something you just don't get on a standard canned tour. So sure, there are other wine tasting tours, but not that you're going to get into with a chef that uses the wines, that knows the vintners. It's really, this is like a once in a lifetime experience, I'll be honest with you.
So the reason why we're doing this is because every time I travel, I take tons of pictures and post them online. And our guests here at Aroma Time keep saying, take us with you, take us with you, take us with you. And it worked out perfect because one of the last 5-6 months ago, you had heard that I'd go on these trips, and you're like, I can help you take your guests with you.
Absolutely.
I'm a chef. I know wine, but I don't know traveling with 25 people like traveling with people.
And that's what I do. I've been doing that for 10 years, and I love it. There's nothing more than I like than watching. You've gone with your family, so you know what it's like to have your family experience the tastings and the information. Wait until you go with your clients and your guests, and you watch them, and their faces light up, and their palates are, really, this is not bad, but drinking this in the vineyard with the people that are producing it, it just doesn't get any better than that.
Right.
It really doesn't.
So at Bertani, I keep mentioning Bertani because it's one of my favorite vineyards up there. Giovanni, actually Father Gaetano, he's almost 90 years old. In his
Red
late
wine
80s.
will do that for you.
And he works in the vineyard every day.
Yeah.
Giovanni, the son's like, my father's off somewhere working right now in the vineyard.
Yeah.
And we spent the whole day with the mother, who's in her late 80s, and had lunch with them and a late lunch, and it was amazing. And they're so proud of what they do, and they want to show us. Zenato Winery, the wine we're drinking now, amazing winery. We're going to start in Barolo, folks. We're starting in Barolo. Barolo is the iconic big wine of northern Italy. But what many people don't know is, so if you go to California and you buy a Cabernet for $100 a bottle, how would you feel if you went 5 miles away, or let's say 5 kilometers, which is 3 miles away, and got almost the same wine at half the price?
You'd wonder why you were paying that huge price.
Right? You're like, wow, I didn't, and you're just over the border from Napa, and you're into another non-region or another different region. But I love Barolos. Love Barolos. Well, Barolo is the powerhouse there, okay, in northern Italy. Dagliani is 5 kilometers away at almost half the price.
Ah,
and we're going to both, folks. We're going to both. We're going to get to see both of these. And this is actually one of the vineyards we're going to. So Dagliani is just an amazing wine. But people really don't know it because, again, every state in Italy makes wine.
Right.
They make signature wines. Every region has its own signature wine. And sometimes there's just not enough of this stuff to really flood the market.
So that was what I was going to ask you, because I actually have done French wine classes, so I know a little bit more about French wines, and I know how regulated they are with the government. Is Italy the same, where the regulations, there are a lot of...
Italy is very regulated. Okay. So, for example, the Dagliani, that's just the name of the region of the wine. That's not the grape.
Right.
Okay. Barolo is the region. Barolo is the region, it's not the grape. But in Barolo, to put Barolo on the label, you have to comply with the government regulations and put the grapes in that they say. Certain parts of Italy you have to put it in the cask, in the aging that they say. They go, okay, if you're making Montepulciano di Abruzzo, or if you're making the powerhouse of Tuscany, which is the Montalcino wines, the Brunellos, you have to use huge Slovenian oak vats to age your wine. If you use the small barrels, they're called barriques, you no longer have that designation. You have to now declassify your wine, which declassifying wine is not really a bad thing, because they're breaking the rules
Right.
of the government, and they're doing more than the tradition. So it's a different style. It's a bigger wine for that region, or it might be it's a totally different style for that region. So it's neat to go into a region and say, okay, here we have the grape that we use, the Sangiovese grape. Here we follow the traditional methods that the government has set forth, because we've done this for 500 years.
Right.
Big oak barrels, whatever. Here's the way the new winemaker is expressing the same grape from the same vineyard, aging in a different barrel, different times of the year, whatever fermentation, aging in the bottle. Here are the two same grapes, same vineyard, but two totally different wines.
And that's the thing, if you want to learn about wines, doing tastings like that side by side, so that you can really start to develop your palate and understand what they're talking about when they're talking about. So like what? Let me test. You can test me here. Blackberry. Is there blackberry in there?
There's a lot of berry in there, right? Now,
I didn't take wine bottles out of the garbage. Sorry. I didn't start that early.
I was 19 years old when I was doing that.
Oh, but it is such a beautiful, beautiful bouquet that it has. And
it's dense, right? It
yes.
has some good mouthfeel. It's dense.
And it's a beautiful color.
So there's Corvina, which is a grape of that they make Amarone with. So we're going to be doing Amarones. Amarones are the prized wine of Valpolicella. Barolos are the prized wine of that region, of the near Alba.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So then when we're going all the way more to the east in Italy, in that part of Italy, we're going through this whole band of northern Italy. Mm-hmm. We're going to get into Soave land, which is red wines. Now, a lot of people think Soave is cheap wine, an expensive wine. Soave has two distinctive factors of it. There's a valley floor in Soave, that's where all the mass cooperatives exist.
So in my mind, that's below Lake Garda then? Is it?
Below Lake Garda, south of Lake Garda, east of Lake Garda.
Oh, okay.
We're actually going to be, I think, a half an hour from Venice at that point.
Yeah, we're very close.
Right? Half an hour from Venice. Yep. So yeah. So there's a valley floor where all the cheap and expensive Soave's made. As soon as you start going up the mountain, that's where the better vineyards are. That's where the price goes up. We're going to one of the most iconic producers there, Pra, which makes amazing. If you get a bottle of Pra, P-R-A, here in New York, jump on it, buy it. It's an amazing, amazing Soave producer. As soon as you start, if you buy Soave, you need to spend a few extra bucks. You need, instead of spending under 10 bucks, go for the ones that are $15 to $20 retail. You're gonna have a big difference between a $7, $8 Soave and a $18 Soave.
And that's one of the things that's one of the reasons why I started taking wine tasting courses is so that when I went into a liquor store, I kind of knew what the label was reading, and I knew what my own palate liked. You don't have to like anything. You like what you like. And, if you're like me, you get a champagne taste and a beer budget. But there are some people that are like, but wait a minute, this, $10 bottle of wine is amazing. Why would you pay more? Well, you don't have to.
You don't have. We're gonna be close to Prosecco, where they make Prosecco. Mm-hmm. Neat thing about this trip is people can actually fly in earlier or later. Am I correct with the group rate you've got?
We have a certain number of people that if you want to go in a few days earlier and do your own thing, or stay a few days later, you can. But that's something. We are coming to the end of being able to offer this whole package at the pricing that it is now. We're really getting to the end of where we have to have final numbers. So maybe 3 weeks we have.
Towards the end of July, right?
Yeah. And then we have to close it off. So
or charge a lot more. Is that correct?
Well, what we would have to do is then get you your own airfare, and as you know or may not know, the closer you get to travel date, the higher your airfare goes. So we've packaged it all in. We've got great rates, a great package. So yeah, you're going to be paying more.
So we haven't really mentioned this yet, but everything's included. It's direct flights from JFK right into Milan.
Yep.
We've got coach bus taking us around the countryside in Italy, right?
Yep. And we have an Italian guide with us on the bus who is a wine expert. So we'll have Marcus when we're at the Vineyards, and we'll have the guide with us at all the other times. So as we're traveling, we're even going to be getting information and understanding which region we're in and which wines are in those regions. So
So I love you telling me the story of when you came to them with the package, because I picked all the vineyards and
Yes.
you went to them.
Yep.
And I love when you told me how impressed they were with all the stuff that we had come up with.
Yeah.
Because it's really not the standard tasting rooms. It's
No.
not the standard wine trip.
No.
This is an in-depth chef's experience. What I do myself when I go away, this is what I'm sharing, my experience with the people that I do business with that I've known for a decade. More than that, here at the restaurant at Aroma Time, I'm sharing with you what I've done the last 10, 12 years here.
And the tour operator that I've used, who actually happens to be a friend of mine, is Italian. She grew up in northern Italy. She and her family right now are living in California, but they're actually moving back to Italy. So, I mean, you can't really get any more local. They knew exactly what we were talking about. They knew the properties, they knew the vineyards. So, I mean, the package really is completely customized to what Marcus wanted.
It includes most dinners.
Most dinners, it includes lunches and tastings and...
So we're having lunch at a very special restaurant, Bottega Vina in Verona. 1 or 2 nights in Verona?
I think we're at least 2.
2 nights in Verona. Verona's right
3.
central there with it all. I mean, you can hop down to Valpolicella, up to Lake Garda, over to Soave, very centrally from Verona. Now, we're going to a place called Bottega Vina. They have like 3,000 wines on their list. They have one of the best wine lists, if not the best wine list, in all of Italy. A very good friend of mine is good friends with the general manager, and she lives 2 to 3 blocks away. She's planning on being there and meeting us, which is going to be really cool because she took me there. She took Jamie and I there when we were there and our kids, and we got in like at 10:30 at night, and we jumped right into a champagne tasting. Because she represents some champagne houses and she represents some vineyards. She might even join us at some of the vineyards we go to because she loves Pra and she's very good friends with the owner of Pra and Porta St. Alda. So she might actually tag along and join us because that's what she does and she knows the vineyards.
So are you getting the idea that this isn't just your standard run-of-the-mill, you know, go to Italy and see the sights? It's not. This is a really unique, customized, once-in-a-lifetime trip. And the amazing thing to me is I get to go. I'm very excited. I'm actually bringing my husband, and he doesn't travel with me very often when I do groups because I'm working. I'm making sure everybody is, you know, taken care of and that there are no questions and you have somebody to talk to, you know, because Marcus is going to be joining us for certain things and we're going to give him a little time off for other things. You know, we can't be on all the time, so...
I'll be there doing a lot of business.
Right, exactly.
I'm meeting with the vineyard, the owners and everything. I mean, I'll be there doing business as well, and I'll be with the group.
Right.
But then, you know, you guys might take the bus to the hotel and I might stay at the vineyard.
Right.
And then...
Right.
You know, get back to the hotel later that night,
Right.
or in an hour or 2 hours after.
I mean, you've got an expert who's going to be bilingual, obviously, because he's Italian, he or she. I don't even know actually at this point. I think it's a he, but I'm not sure. Marcus, myself, and then all of the vineyard owners that we're going to meet with, and the people that Marcus knows that are going to really enhance this trip. I cannot wait. Sometimes the most fun for me in a trip is coming home, and usually with my groups we train or bus or limo down to the airport together and we come back together. And when we do that, I always ask them, what was your favorite part? And that is it's so much fun to listen to everybody's perspective. So I can't wait to hear what everybody thinks of this trip once we're done, because I think
Greg Berger's on. Greg, you going with us?
Come on!
Greg's getting...
We would love to have you come on.
Pass the wine.
There you go. We'll share. I'm going to taste the cheese.
Taste the cheese. Greg is a French wine fan. He likes Bordeaux.
Well, we'll do that another time.
I'm going to steal the wine.
I'm dropping cheese all over your floor.
We have Uber now. We do have Uber in upstate New York.
Yeah.
Not sure if we have Uber in Ellenville.
I don't know if we have it in Woodstock either,
but,
to be honest with you.
Yeah. I got the email from Uber saying, Uber's upstate. So I clicked the link, meet your Uber driver, and it's Syracuse, Schenectady.
Right. It's going to be all the big cities.
Albany.
First, yeah.
So, of course, I don't know if there's any local Uber drivers, but yes.
So this cheese is amazing, but tell me, aside from sitting here and eating it with wine, what else would you use this cheese for? Would you use it to cook?
You use the cook. You can use this cheese whether it's breakfast for omelets, which you can use oil, the truffle oil too. The truffle oil is amazing, or fresh truffles. So this cheese is great just as a snack like we're doing now.
Yeah.
You can add it
It's really
add it onto
delicious.
risotto. Polenta. One of the most overlooked things I think in Italian cuisine is polenta. Polenta is popular, but when you go into restaurants, you really never see a creamy polenta, soft polenta. We actually have a polenta cake entree here that sells like crazy. And polenta is it's an Italian staple that I just love it. I like it more than mashed potatoes. So you can make truffled polenta. You can use this cheese. This cheese is actually a sheep's milk cheese. If you can see, this has slices of truffle in it.
And where did you get this one? I know you said you just picked this up today.
We get it from our distributor. We use a couple different distributors. We have a distributor in Hunts Point in New York that is a major importer of Italian products, especially, and has a huge Italian portfolio of stuff. So we get that. We also do another vendor in Hunts Point as well. And on the cheese side, we're actually... It's not really a soft cheese, but it's not a hard cheese, so it has some kind of texture to it.
Right.
So
Does it melt well then?
This melts very well.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So I hope that answers your question, Heather.
For those of us mac and cheese, gourmet mac and cheese, would we put some of that in there?
Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%.
Okay, so here's another.
Add some asparagus. Add some scallops.
Here's another thing is that we're going to these places in early November. I don't know if you know it, but there's a really big holiday the next month that sometimes you're looking for gifts for people. What better than bringing them a bottle of wine from one of the vineyards you went to, or some fresh cheese, which I know you can get at the airports. I know you can't bring it from the farms, but you can get it in the airports. It's a great time of year to travel because Aunt Jane doesn't want that same perfume. She just doesn't. Get her something new. Get her some wine. Get her something from the the area that we're going to. It's a great time to travel and think about the holidays. So, not
Excellent.
a bad thing.
So, did we talk about the price of this trip?
I don't think we have.
No.
We're so excited about the trip. We don't care about the price. Honestly, we actually leave on November 4th. We're in Italy from the 5th to the 12th. It's $3,999 per person, and that includes your airfare, that includes everything on the ground, all of the tastings, most of your meals.
10 wineries are we doing?
We're doing 10 wineries in 8 days. But we'll take it slow and we'll feed you, so it won't be, you'll remember it, I promise. And I think we have some great people already. I know we have some great people already signed up. Great time to take photos, create photo albums for yourselves.
So here's the one question I've been getting, because there's people that I know that want to go, but they're not a couple. So I don't feel right because I'm going solo, and we have a single person booked for the trip, right?
We have two, actually.
2 single, okay.
And unfortunately, they jumped on it, so there are no more singles available.
Ah, okay.
But if you're a single, and there may be somebody else that calls and says, "Oh, I'd like to go too," I'm happy to match you up. I do that all the time in my trips that I do. It's an easier way to travel and not have to pay that single supplement if you don't have a travel partner. So yeah, we can do that too. But you really have to decide. We've been talking about this, for a couple of months now, and we're getting to the point where we're gonna have to, do that hard, fast cutoff date at the end of July, and we're all going to be going in November, and you're going to be sitting home crying in your blind because you didn't sign up.
And you're going to see all the pictures we post online.
And we're going to post lots of pictures and lots of videos. Facebook Lives. We're going to be talking a lot about where we're going and what we're doing.
So, of course, they can go to aromatimebistro.com and click the link on the top, which takes them to the page talking about the trip, the itinerary, the price, and your contact.
Or EuropeanTravelWhisperer.com. It's all on there as well.
And there is no way to just go and register.
Nope.
You're going to talk to everybody personally because you want to make sure the trip's right for them.
Right. And I've had people call and ask me questions, and a couple of times they've been like, "Oh, this is exactly what I've been looking for," and a couple of times they're like, "I don't think this is for me." And that's what I do. That's why my title is travel consultant, because I do consult with my clients. I want you to come and have the best time ever. And if the trip isn't right for you, you're not going to have the best time ever. So, I want to talk to you. I want to say hi. I want to introduce myself. So,
cheers.
Cheers. Thank you for your time, Marcus.
Thank you.
Happy 4th of July, everybody. I hope you have a great one. Be safe out there. And give us a call. We have 10 more spots that we have open. And if you want to come with us, now's the time. See ya.
Cheers.